an example for empowerment of women in refrigeration by the ROCA project. What ROCA means, we will tell that later. Thank you for coming. It looks quite empty, but the room is really big. So you are more people than you think. And well, to get an introduction into the topic, we start with a video. So please.
Un métier encore qui regroupe presque tous les autres métiers. On est électronicien, on est plombier, on est frigoriste, on est électricien, ainsi de suite, ainsi de suite. À chaque fois qu'on avance, à chaque fois, on tend encore dans un autre métier. Et c'est ma passion.
Qu'est-ce qu'on peut faire pour protéger l'environnement? Qu'est-ce qu'on peut faire pour économiser de l'énergie? Moi, c'est dans ces axes-là que je rentre en fait.
Je souhaiterais qu'on encourage plus les femmes à pouvoir faire plus la science, la pratique.
Il faut changer les mentalités.
Pour quand les femmes aussi peuvent exercer ce métier comme les hommes.
Les entreprises, nos collègues hommes ont tendance à nous sous-estimer. Certains hommes me disaient « Qu'est-ce que tu fais là? Tu ne vas pas rester longtemps. » Et des fois même, ils me testent. Ils me donnent des choses trop lourdes pour aller au chantier. Ils me font faire des choses un peu difficiles pour me décourager.
Faites confiance aux filles, faites confiance aux dames. Parce que le milieu de la formation professionnelle n'est pas un milieu d'hommes seulement. C'est le milieu de tout un chacun, de toute personne.
Quand j'entre dans le secteur, ce n'est pas pour travailler en tant que femme, mais c'est pour faire exactement ce que les hommes font en fait.
C'est des domaines techniques, c'est fait pour tout le monde. Donc pas question de genre. Donc vraiment j'encourage les femmes à venir nous rejoindre pour qu'au moins on puisse aller ensemble. Parce que ce sont elles qui sont très généralement utilisateurs de ces appareils en question.
Quand on se retrouve en atelier, ça n'aide pas une femme technicienne d'être dans un environnement où il y a une pratique à réaliser. Qu'un homme arrive, c'est vrai, il est gentil, il est poli, mais qu'il arrive et qu'il veuille récupérer le tournevis à ta place pour le faire. Parce que si tu as choisi de faire ce métier, ça veut dire que tu peux tenir le tournevis et tu peux tourner. Donc il faut quelque part que les hommes qui sont dans le milieu, s'ils veulent réellement nous aider, qu'ils nous laissent parfois cette possibilité-là de faire comme eux en fait.
J'ai eu le privilège de former beaucoup de femmes dans le secteur de la réfrigération au Cameroun. Ce que je constate, c'est qu'après la formation, elles sont passionnées, elles sont très professionnelles, plus disciplinées même que nous les hommes. Je dois le reconnaître parce que nous les hommes, on veut parfois aller un peu vite. Après 2 ans de métier, qu'elles se marient, après c'est difficile de continuer. Quelque chose que je déplore énormément.
Il faut accompagner les femmes pour leur insertion sociale. Parce que chez nous-mêmes, il y a beaucoup de filles qui viennent et après leur formation, elles repartent s'asseoir à la maison.
Nous, on se met en devant de la scène et personne ne nous fait reculer.
Et je leur demande de ne pas avoir peur. Et dès qu'elles commenceront à exercer, elles vont sûrement aimer. Voilà, c'est comme un médecin. Voilà, le froid, c'est comme le médecin face à son malade. Vous êtes devant un appareil frigorifique, vous diagnostiquez, vous trouvez le problème, vous réparez, et puis le client est content. Donc voilà.
Ce n'est pas un secteur où il faut avoir du muscle. De nos jours, il y a tellement d'équipements qui sont développés que aux femmes, moi, je leur demande de ne pas avoir peur d'entrer là-dedans. Que c'est de la discipline, c'est de la rigueur. Et nous, les femmes, nous avons ça.
Tout est possible. Donc avec le courage, tout est possible.
Venez toutes, c'est un secteur très large. Nous avons notre place dedans.
So this video has already given us an introduction to the topic of women who work in refrigeration, about their challenges, but also about why they love working in the sector. Warm welcome again, because some have newly joined us. My name is Kerstin Kress, and I work as a communication advisor for GIZ Proklima and also for the ROCA project. GIZ Proklima is an umbrella of several projects that promote green cooling worldwide. I guess that some of you have already worked with us or know us from our side events. Today, we will focus on the project ROCA that I have mentioned several times. ROCA is short for Refroidissement respectueux de l'ozone et du climat en Afrique de l'Ouest et Centrale. And for those who don't speak French, that means climate and ozone-friendly cooling in West and Central Africa. So now let's have a look at the agenda. We start with welcome remarks by Dr. Claudia Hiepe of the Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development. Then Dr. Cornelius Rhein of the European Commission will give us an overview about the ROCA project and its efforts for female empowerment. And then we are happy to welcome here Ms. Sokhna Fall, who is the president of Senegal's Association of Women who Work as Cooling Technicians. Afterwards, it's your turn to ask your questions, and then Niels Hansen, project manager of ROCA, will give us some conclusions and closing remarks. Before we really start with the speakers, a short administrative remark. Maybe you have already found the participants lists that are distributed on the tables. Please write in your details and then hand it over to your neighbor. Thank you. And now we come to the welcome remarks by Claudia Hiepe. She's part of the German delegation, and she represents the Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, short BMZ for its German name. BMZ supports GIZ Proklima and its green cooling project since 1995, and is also a co-founder of the ROCA project that's in the focus today. So please, Claudia, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. It's really good to see you, and I hope you all arrived safely. I just arrived this morning. So a short night, but I think it's really interesting, and I'm very much looking forward to this side event. So I think the video already gave us some good impression of all the women around that actually have a lot of skills and expertise in the field of refrigeration and air conditioning, and who are actually passionate about it. I think there was this lady who said, "It's my passion. I want to turn the screwdriver myself." So I think that was very illustrative, but we also know that it's actually not so easy, that many of these women are still discriminated by companies, male colleagues or clients, or that it's actually, they have to marry, or it's kind of difficult to continue their passion because of family duties and norms. So with this side event from the ROCA project that empowers women in Senegal who work in the RAC sector, we can understand a little bit better how this can be supported. And as already mentioned, this is a project financed by the European Union and the Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, BMZ, for which I'm working. And for Germany, for us, gender equality is, of course, something that it's very important for us for a long time. Also in Germany, and actually still also in Germany, there are some challenges remaining. But when it comes to development and foreign policy, this topic is very much at the core of our engagement. And in the end, it means equal opportunities. Gender equality means equal opportunities. And basically looking at the Sustainable Development Goals, it's really important that we give those opportunities to women, simply because we cannot afford to leave out 50% of humanity. And so to keep it short, I look forward to the side event. I'm also looking forward to listen to the talk of first-hand experience of Sokhna Fall from Senegal. And I wish us all a good event and also a successful open-ended working group. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia, for these welcome remarks, and thank you for your continuous support and your ministry's continuous support. And now I have the honor to hand over to Cornelius Rhein of the European Commission. The European Commission is the second co-founder of ROCA. And Cornelius is a German lawyer working for the European Commission with a main focus on ozone-depleting substances and fluorinated greenhouse gases. He represents the European Union in the Montreal Protocol meetings already since a while, so I guess many of you know him already. So please give us some insights about ROCA.
Yes, thank you and good afternoon. One moment. Yeah, that's it. Okay, we heard already a bit on the background of this co-funded project, which we follow with great interest, because really the focus and to reach concrete reductions of climate impact of the refrigeration air conditioning sector in one specific region is really showcasing the possibilities our joint efforts under the Montreal Protocol can bring. So we work with the partner countries to enable the adoption of the necessary policy instruments to implement and to create a possibility to reach the objectives of the Montreal Protocol, and that in a way that really promotes the sustainable cooling technologies. That means reverting not to intermediate technologies based on synthetic refrigerants, but to do the full step at once and to really apply the natural refrigerants, which are in certain aspects challenging due to pressure, due to flammability, and that requires well-trained personnel, and that's one of the elements. So we not only want to increase the use of climate-friendly refrigerants, but also enable countries to achieve gains in terms of energy efficiency, and that's also closely linked to the quality of the servicing sector. So I mentioned the different activities which are foreseen under the project: policy advice and enabling the development of supporting legal and policy frameworks, capacity building, and that's very essential to enable the use of the sustainable forms of cooling technology. This implies also to increase the acceptance of those new technologies which are not so broadly used and available on the market. We have then also one element where we showcasing with concrete examples how beneficial the use of green technologies can be. For instance, in the area of agricultural cold, the agricultural cold chain, also issues like cooling of vaccination, and also the use of propane air conditioner in public buildings. Those are sectors, different sectors where we want to demonstrate that it is worthwhile to invest in those technologies. Within the capacity building, oops, yet now I'm a bit confused here. Within the capacity building, it is very important to focus also on the empowerment of women, which are which are completely underrepresented in the among the technicians. Only 2 to 4% of technicians are female, so that's an underexploited potential we are missing out if we are not doing something to end this discrimination in the research for jobs by training women to use the new and future technologies. We give them a clear competitive advantage against the incumbent technicians, predominantly male, which are rather used to use the traditional HFC, CFC-based technologies. So here we are really offering a good opportunity for interested women to learn state-of-the-art and the latest technologies, and to ensure a safe handling of the relevant equipment. So to obtain this this objective in Senegal, there was quite recently in February this year 2 training events for in total 21 technicians. 4 technicians organized in the RENAF, so the Association of Female Refrigeration Technicians, and that is really that's a good opportunity today to hear from first hand how this event went and what your expectations and perspectives are in this respect. With this, I end my short presentation and give back the floor and the power.
Thank you, Cornelius. Thank you for this valuable background information, and thank you for your support for the project. So we have already learned that we have the opportunity to talk to one of the ladies who you already saw and heard in the video, to Ms. Sokhna Fall. We are happy that you could make it to Bangkok and to talk about your experiences here. Ms. Sokhna Fall is a cooling technician, and she is also an entrepreneur from Senegal, and she has founded the Senegalese Association for Women who work in the refrigeration and air conditioning sector. The network is called RENAF, which is short for Réseau National des Femmes Frigoristes. So, thank you for being here, and the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm very happy to be here to talk about women in refrigeration. So,
please start the presentation again.
challenges for Senegalese women in refrigeration and how to tackle them. So before starting, I want to explain you see an image in the background. It is our logo, the logo of RENAF. It represents the Senegal map with a sign of refrigeration in the middle and an image representing African women. This is our logo, and you will see it all over the slide. So despite the importance of refrigeration in our society, we are unfortunately underrepresented in this sector in Senegal. We account about 4% of all the total number of technicians in refrigeration sector. So we are going to see what is the problem, what is the barriers, why are we underrepresented in this sector. You have first problem of access to education, training, information, gender discrimination, and cultural, social, and economic constraints. And we are going to see how we can overcome all these barriers. So in the presentation, I will talk about 3 women who serve as models, successful model in the refrigeration industry in Senegal. First, I'm here, Mrs. Sokhna Fall Jawara. I have 47 years old. It's 23 years I'm in the sector. I am a self-employed entrepreneur. I'm trainer and consultant in the Senegal Ozone Office. And of course, president of RENAF. The second woman here is Mrs. Astou Coulibaly, 38 years. She is a professor in refrigeration in one of the vocational training center in Senegal, and she has 12 years in teaching and industry. And the younger lady, Ndeye Marème Sidibé, she has 24 years old. She is a supervisor maintenance in Dakar Arena. It is a prestigious complex, cultural and sport complex. She has responsibility of the maintenance of air handling unit, chillers, air conditioners, and air conditioners. So these are 3 models of success in refrigeration in Senegal. So we are going to see what are the barriers, what are the problems we meet in the profession, like a lady. The first problem is lack of access to education and training. We have limited access to formal education, barriers for girls choosing technical studies, and statistics shows that scientific and technical fields are predominantly male-dominated. We have social expectation confine women to traditional feminine roles, hindering their pursuit to technical training. We have lack of information. It is a big problem, because I take an example of me before being technician refrigerant. I wanted to be architect, and when after my exam I was in the school, they asked me to do refrigerant technician. I didn't want, because I didn't know this field. I was crying, and I told them, no, I'm go back to university to continue my study in physical, chemical, because I didn't know refrigeration field. But after some days of courses, and I become, and I like the field I become. That is why I'm here now. Excuse me, my English is not very good. So it's the same. It's the same for the Astou Coulibaly. She wanted to be technical engineering, but after a few days of courses in refrigeration, she adopted the profession. The same of the young lady like Ndeye Marème Niang. She wanted to be international business. Yeah, but after a few days of courses, she adopted the profession. Though we have a problem of information, that is why we are underrepresented in the field. Another problem is gender discrimination. It is a big problem, a real problem. We have difficulties being taken seriously and facing harassment. We have difficulties to be trust in the field, to be trusted by men colleagues, by employers. You have real difficulty of gender discrimination. You have difficulties in accessing financing and resources, discrimination in lending based on gender, difficulties in accessing government-funded financial support specifically designed for women. If I take an example on me, I am an entrepreneur. Before, when I wanted to create my own workshop, I didn't have any support, financial, material, any support. But I create my workshop with no money. I begin to door to door to do my advertise, and my first job was to repair a big bus, in the air conditioning of a big bus. And after that, the client was satisfied. It was the beginning of my business. So now I have a big workshop with many employers without any support, financial support. So we are going to see the solution to overcome the challenges. The first is awareness raising to challenge gender stereotypes and mentorship program for guidance and support. I didn't want to be a technician because I didn't see any model of success in the field in Senegal. So we must do more awareness raising and information dissemination. We must do awareness campaigns to inform women about career opportunities and showcasing successful female role models as inspiration. Online platform for access to inform and resources, empowering women to pursue refrigeration careers. It's not the only solution. There are so many solutions to overcome the challenges. We have combating discrimination and gender bias, strengthening laws and policies against gender discrimination, raising awareness and providing training on equality and harassment prevention. Overcoming cultural and social barriers. It is a difficult cultural and social barriers. If I take an example on me, at the beginning of my career, my mother didn't want that I continue the job because she was always telling me, you look like a boy, you are wearing men's clothes, you don't put nice dresses, you are so tired, it's not a job for a woman. Because of my determination and my passion, I stay in the profession. So we must do community awareness on gender equality and career choices, encouraging family support for girls' professional aspiration. we need support by our families. We need support by our husband, because many of girls after getting married, they end up leave the profession. It is a big problem. Economic empowerment program for women entrepreneurs, access financing and resources for refrigeration businesses. So one of the solutions in Senegal is when we established RENAF. RENAF is a platform of sharing experience and knowledge. In RENAF, you have communication and information on new technologies. We support girls' integration and success, encourage of entrepreneurship and project development, environmental awareness and updates in the field. So we have some activities of RENAF. We have two big collaborators with RENAF to implement these solutions. We have the National Ozone Office who help us. So we have GIZ by ROCA project. They give us so many trainings. GIZ is our principal support in this mission. In all trainings they organize, we have members of RENAF participating. GIZ organize a training with members of RENAF. It is capacity building training on natural refrigerant, and it is combined by entrepreneurship training. It was very important for us because it enabled women technicians to be technically strength, and to know how to set up her business. We have some pictures here. The first is during the celebration on Ozone Day in 2022. And here we have during the capacity building training for technicians in Louga region, organized by National Office Ozone, and the capacity building training for women RENAF, organized by GIZ through ROCA project. So in summary, female technicians in refrigeration field in Senegal face following challenges. So lack of education training, gender discrimination, cultural, social barrier, difficulties in accessing financing and resources. To address these challenges, initiatives like RENAF have been established, focusing on awareness campaigns to promote gender equality and opportunities, training program to enhance skill and knowledge, economic empowerment initiative to support entrepreneurship, creating a supportive platform for knowledge sharing by promoting equal opportunities and supporting female technicians. It will be more inclusive and sustainable refrigeration sector where they become recognized. So thank you for your attention, and excuse me because my English is Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sokhna, for sharing your experiences. It's really impressive what you have achieved. And thank you also for pointing out how we can encourage and also support other women to follow your example. Yes, dear audience, you've heard a lot of insights from Senegal, but also some remarks by the European Commission and the German Ministry for Cooperation and Development. Now the floor is yours maybe you have some questions to the speakers. Yes, please. Yes, over there. You raised your hand? Yes, please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm from Liberia. And I'm very happy that the females are finding their way into the industry in Senegal now. But in her presentation, she mentioned that discrimination against the female has been one of the problems. And she's right to some degree. And it is so because the situation differs from country to country. But I think it goes beyond discrimination. I'm from Liberia, and I will just tell you a little bit about how the female technicians found their way into the industry. The ozone program was launched in Liberia in 2004, and Nita from GIZ was present at that program. From the onset, we had only 2 female technicians. But as time went on, they had to drop from the trade. And the reason was simple. They got discouraged. And it is not because they were discriminated against, but because they were lacking certain forces that could have kept them in the industry or even bring more female into the industry. It was not discrimination. One was there was not a force of encouragement to keep them in the industry or bring others. Secondly, there was this lack of financial support to help them gain the kind of education that they needed from the industry. However, when the program was established in Liberia and we took over, we decided to strategize so that we could bring in female into the trade. And with the help of GIZ, we were able to establish a scholarship scheme for 40 technicians. That was the beginning of the inclusion of female into the trade. During the first cycle, we had 9 female who got encouraged and they took part into the scholarship. Today, they are practicing. Currently, Liberia has a little over 50 female technicians who are practicing, all right? And every year, for every cycle, at least 5 female technicians are graduated. So I think the issue was, probably in some countries, is the lack of that support to bring the female into the trade, or even the lack of encouragement to bring them into the trade. For some countries, women are just nothing. Okay? Women are looked at as housewives, and your business is to stay home. But come to Liberia and try to keep a woman down. Before you can say one word, she has given you 5. Okay? That tells us that the women in my country, they are not to be kept as housewives. They are now involved in every trade, not only refrigeration. You find them in electricity, you find them in carpentry, you find them in masonry. I mean, just every trade. But I think the major thing is the lack of financial support to keep them into the trade. So it's not always a matter of discrimination. There are other forces that have kept these women out of the trade. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your experiences and the situation in Liberia, and also, the different factors that are challenging for women. Is there anyone else who? Yes, please.
I think Cameroon and Burkina, and after I saw them first.
Okay, sorry. Please, Hassan, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity. Maybe I also want to say thank you for the video that actually highlighted some few, the areas that we've worked in Cameroon. I saw the females. so many of them, and also the male that were actually intervened is quite good. But my question still stays, just like what Liberia just said, the case of Cameroon is not the same. I think you actually rightly said from what Fall said in her presentation that one of the greatest problems is cultural barrier. That is true. You take example of the northern part of my country. By tradition, the Muslim woman is not allowed to be out. And if you go by education, how do you intend to encourage them? Because culturally, they are supposed to be. You can't even meet them. But I think as time is, we move along, we get this change of mentality as well, because we go as well as within the science sector, because in most of the countries, even opportunities are given now for science, female science students, more opportunities than the male, because they want to get them inside. But how much ado, I think the government of Cameroon has actually created a lot of so many schools that graduates female technicians. But the question I keep asking is that after the graduation, because they live right up to have engineer, the conception, which is, call it master's level. What happened? How many of them do practice into the field? I went as far as to ask what's really the problem. Now, when I got now, some few people I know, it's not like, I would not like the issue of discrimination, but like you said, I don't know whether by social, somehow trying to go back, but we try as much as possible to encourage those who are there, but the few that are already in the sector, after they teach, or no way, no hope, just stay, and then probably the opportunities are really not there to explore as an expert and still go with what she actually presented as an issue. Well, after gathering all this information you have now, and then you have now ROCA that is operating, what are the sustainability elements that we are going to put in so that we keep sustaining these female technicians to continue? Because not only taking them now, but what are the sustainability tools or elements that we need to put in to build up this aspect? Today we are here, you have the European Union supporting, GIZ supporting. Will they be there in the next 10 years? What are the elements we are putting out so that we bring them up? Because this issue of refrigeration is not now. It's as old as humanity. And how, up to now, what has really been the problem? So I think we start looking at the root cause too, that's making them, that we build in capacity like she said something very important I want to highlight. Models. What are the models that we have that maybe the women are not seeing any person somehow like a big footballer in the sector that's up there they can look up to and say, okay, I want to be like her. I'm within the straight. So I think those are, we call it local champions, build up local capacity. In that case, now I think in that way we can now be looking at trying to build sustainability in the actions that we are taking right now. It's kind of issues to conscientize the women as well as the men. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hyacinth. You've brought up lots of different aspects. Well, part of your question you've answered already. Role models, as Sokhna has already mentioned before, can be something that encourages other women to go into the sector. And well, the thing about tackling the barriers that prevent women from going into the sector, there should be a time when no support is needed anymore. Then we've really achieved the equal opportunities. But you're right that right now and maybe for a longer time, support is still needed. So maybe Sokhna or Niels, you want to comment? Or because Hyacinth also asked for the GIZ support, maybe you can say something.
Yeah, I can react briefly on that. Thanks also for these points. Also the very nice example from Liberia. I think it's a long-term goal, of course. Yeah? Equal opportunities, that's a large word, but you need to start somewhere. And what we try to achieve is to have to create awareness on the topic, to show women working in this sector, to create what was called role models or local champions, and also support self-employment, because that is, from my point of view, one of the most sustainable ways to not be dependent on somebody else's wishes. Yeah, you are your own boss, and you can decide if you stay in the sector or not. Not completely, because of all these other barriers we heard about, but of course it is a way, yeah, to start with, and we will not be there forever, but I can assure you, as long as we are there, we will keep on working on this. Thanks.
Any other reactions from the panel?
I want to say that I have experienced gender discrimination myself in a workplace. I remember one day a colleague man has sabotaged the machine I was repairing to make my boss thinking that I have no skills, because they was thinking that I am here to take their place. Donc I have experienced it, and there are other girls in RENAF member. They told me they live it in workplace. Gender discrimination with their colleagues, their male colleagues, and with the employers. We are not paid the same like men. So that is what I want to say.
Yes, thank you for pointing that out. We had some other colleagues, comments.
Yes, just a comment and some observation too. I would like to introduce myself. I'm Madi Sakande, the president of UTREAC. UTREAC is a continental body, African Union, of course, Union of African Association Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Actors. I would like everyone to put a hand together for Sokhna Fall, because she is already doing a great job, and I would like to announce you also here that Sokhna win our award, because from last year, UTREAC decided to promote a Dr. Charity Award. Dr. Charity, where a Nigerian lady, passed her life in teaching refrigeration sector in Nigeria. Unfortunately, she passed away 2 years ago, and we decided last year in UTREAC to create an award for ladies, to promote ladies in refrigeration sector. Last year, the first award wins by a young girl from Mali, and this year we decided to promote again this kind of award, bringing 2 ladies from different countries talking about refrigeration equipment. And Sokhna Fall here and another lady from Mali, named Binta Koita, they did a great job, and they are a winner of this year. So I would like you to put a hand together, and then I will talk to you about what we are doing also to promote, because the change we want is a process, is not an event, and we have to start somewhere. Let's put a hand together, and then I will come back. Congratulations, Mr. Sokhna, really. So, what to say? We said it's just is a process. It's not an event. They say a lot of barrier. They say also we need a role model. And this is, I would like to thank you, GIZ. I would like also to thank you, European Union, who are supporting this event, this initiative, and promote this event and invite us here. I would like here to ask the European Union, as we are linking deeply in the African Union, to promote this activity, because I believe we are here all because of climate change. But we have to remember that 60% of our population are ladies. Refrigeration has a key role to play. All the report we are talking about, we have refrigeration inside. Without ladies in refrigeration sector, as Sokhna and the other ladies in Africa, not only in Africa, because even in Europe, we copy our experience of last year, and they promote a competition as ours this year to celebrate European ladies in the refrigeration sector. We need ladies because ladies can help on energy efficiency. When we talk energy efficiency, we have 3 levels of energy efficiency: the engineering, installation, and the end users. And ladies are the one who most of our domestic refrigeration equipment are used by ladies. Not because we want to keep them at home, but it's mostly ladies who are using the refrigeration equipment. Ladies as a technician, they can repair refrigerator, air conditioner. Meanwhile, taking a tea with their sister. They can talk about new nails, new hair, new shirt, or new shoes. They can say, it's better to keep your refrigerator far from the oven. It's better to close your windows where your air conditioner is running, and we will avoid climate change. Because we are just seeing, before we get to this room, that 70% of inefficiency in refrigeration sector is coming from indirect consumption, not the release of refrigerant. That's supposed to be all in the cylinder or in the system, not releasing in ambient, but in energy consumption. So lady can play a big role on this. And we in Utria, we are believing it, and we bring all ladies in Africa to be together in technical level where they are sharing experiences, as Sokhna just said, in Senegal. Not only Senegal, because she just said, we can cancel Senegal and to save the rest of our world. We have the same issue everywhere, and we can fight it together as party. So I ask all parties here to do so in your own country, because we need lady. Without lady, we cannot achieve any change in that world. They have the beginning, and there will be also the end. So we have to promote ladies in refrigeration sector, and this is my call for this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this contribution. And yeah, for drawing the connection between women empowerment and our fight against the climate crisis. Thank you. So there was one more comment in the front, and then we go to the back.
Thank you very much for giving me the floor. Good morning, everybody here. I'm very happy to see my colleague, Madame Jawara Sokhna Fall. We worked together more than 15 years, something like that. And I certify she is a very well technician with a very high skill. And during our training for our technician, she participated and gave knowledge, and we appreciate it in our national ozone units. My contribution, before that, anywhere you find a success story, at the beginning we have problems. But you should maintain and not let your, you need to have strength and voluntary to move on. It's like the Montreal Protocol. At the beginning, most of the country or people do not believe of it. But 35 years after, you have universal ratification. So just an example. Life is hard. As she said, in our society we have these barriers. It's true, but the best way is to start. If you identify the barrier, it is one of the solutions. We make a very big step, and after we see how to move and to progress. My contribution on the solution is to see from the agencies or from the government or others international development to see how to promote the female in this sector is to establish, for example, a scholarship to maintain them, because the problem is after the baccalaureate second degree, most of the family has not money to pay for their children to go for high level. So one of the solutions, and I tell it this solution in Addis Ababa and in Botswana, when we have a meeting, is to support the young women after their second degree to the scholarship. It will be helpful. The other thing is also to make how do you call it, an awareness among our authorities, because the environment is important, but they have many things to deal, like climate change, like economic or social issues. So we need to, you need to have a platform and also a database where you have your the technician and you highlight all your activities. You need to be comment dirais-je, ce que je veux dire, c'est de promouvoir tes propres activités. You need to promote all what you have done, which is better for the society. Because this sector, if you have a skill on it or knowledge, you will find a job. It is a sector you can have money if you are an excellent technician or engineer, something like that. So I encourage Madam Jawara, their association, and I hope that it is a very good starting for the African ladies or women in this sector. So boys are predominant, maybe, but in the next coming year, I think it will be changed, because even in the school, what we saw is the young girl have more voluntary and have more success than the boys in our country. That is the scenario actually. If you take 10 young children, 6 or 7 are girls. The others are boys. Sometimes they are in internet or social media. Even in the companies, most of the ladies are now in the top level, if you see it. So I said congratulations, Madam Jawara, and also I last put to say that GIZ, we appreciate your cooperation and your support for Senegal under the ROCA project. This is a very interesting project to help us maybe to be in conformity with the Kigali amendments regarding the energy efficiency and also the new technology regarding the natural refrigerant and the cooling plan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kane, for showing that something is already changing, even though a lot of challenges remain. And yeah, also for showing again how support can be organized. Now, I'm really happy that we have a lady who wants to contribute.
Thank you. To introduce myself, my name is Jessica Weir. I'm here representing the Cool Up program, where we work to upscale sustainable cooling in the MENA region and Turkey. Last week, we had a training of trainers on natural refrigerants in Istanbul, bringing together 16 trainers, master trainers from the region, where only one of the participants was female of the 16. Therefore, I'm really interested to know how you got so many females involved. Also, about the awareness-raising campaign to promote equality and prevent workplace harassment. I was curious, was this specifically targeted to men? Was it targeted to both men and women? Did you involve industry associations? And how did you go about this? Did you mainly promote the female competence, or?
we're waiting for the translation.
Thank you.
Please be patient.
No, we haven't to do awareness about harassment, because so we have just to talk it together in our group, because it's sensible. Yes, sensible. Yeah, to talk about others, but we have just to talk it in ourselves. Yeah, voilà. Donc, so we will see how to do awareness with the colleagues, with the others, yeah, and with the population in general. So there is a girl in our association. She told me one day he go to a client to repair his aircon, and when she was inside the bedroom, she was surprised. The guy put lot of money in the room, all of the room, on the floor, the bed, lot of money on the room, and she was very surprised. And what she's doing is to work on the money toward his aircon, to fix the aircon, and to work on the money to go out, to ask her money. Only her paid and to go out. It's not very, it's not good. It's not very, yeah, 2 years to leave this situation, yeah.
So, and also from GIZ side, we've created this video and also videos in other languages, and well, our general communication materials on other topics have women on displayed who are at work, but we have not started yet an campaign directed to harassment in the companies or something like that. But maybe we can get together and have a look together how something like that could be done. And Niels, you
maybe to briefly respond to the question how we got to a quite large percentage of women in our trainings. I mean, you heard in the beginning that 2 to 4% in the sector, in the countries we're talking about, are women, and to be honest with you, we are not at 50% in most of our trainings, but we try to specifically address the women we know. We try through these female technicians to identify others and get them onto the trainings, because this is the only way to get into some kind of over-representation, compared to the status you have in the country. We are not at 50%, but even if you are at 20 or 30%, it's an achievement, I think.
So there was one question in the back again from another lady, and then we should slowly come to an end because the plenary session is about to start in 20 minutes, but we still have time for this question.
Thank you very much. I'm Marlene Denaishimia from Burundi. It's not really a question. I fully support the previous speakers, but also I would like to propose that GIZ can help countries to have guarantee funds so that ladies can access to credit and start the business in the refrigerator sector. Because they have knowledge, they start together with men, and when they start business, the ladies are very few. The second one is to promote the awareness of linkage of using refrigerator and energy and food security. Because with food security sector, if we show that refrigerator is the indicator of development, is one of the indicator of the level of family, families or many families, when you get money, the first time you buy television and they buy refrigerator. So if you will link with food security, it become important in our policy and strategies and plan of development. That is my small contributions. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So yeah, we had the connection with fighting the climate crisis. Now we also have the connection with food security. So all topics are interconnected. So if we have 3 more contributions, 1 in the back and 2 here, and then we close the session. So please, in the back, next to the lady who has just talked. Ah, all right. So then we have 1 here and the 2 over there, and please try to keep it a bit short. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, I'm Pauline. I'm representing Ghana's NOU. I would like to know if it's possible to start the awareness campaigns at a much earlier stage, because, for example, you mentioned that ROCA started piloting projects in Africa. Our education system requires us to make career decisions at an early stage, right from junior high school. We have to decide if you want to go into the sciences, something technical, and the cooling sector is ever growing, so it would be nice to start engaging them right from the start in this decision-making stage. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, very important contribution that the awareness-raising campaigns have to start very early. So let's all have it in mind when we design something like that. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. First of all, thank you to GIZ for sharing with us the experience of a very important role model that it's going to be very important for the work that we do in Mexico. And sorry, it's another contribution from a man, but we have a lot to learn. And that's why I want to ask a couple of questions. We have been doing a lot, and actually Sofia, our coordinator for HPMP, has been doing a lot in Mexico. But we are still, and it's kind of sad to learn that the experiences and the challenges that are faced by women in Senegal are so similar to the ones that we have in Mexico and in the Latin American region. But also, it's very encouraging to know that there are alternatives that have been tried and from which we can learn. And in that sense, and taking advantage of Sokha's experience as an expert in refrigeration, but also as an entrepreneur, I was wondering if beyond the discrimination that she talked about within the workplace, if you have also faced discrimination among your clients. If, for example, any client has turned you down because you were a woman and they would prefer a man. Because there's a lot that we still have to do in terms of getting that sensibility in the public, in the general public, and so that they can learn that they are as good or even better technicians as a man. And my second question was in general perhaps for GIZ, in terms of how to manage and to encourage more women trained in this profession. If it is, because we are dealing with that, we have been talking a lot about that, whether it's the best way to go forward to promote courses specific for women, or would it be better to encourage women to participate in general courses where both men and women participate? Thank you.
Thank you for these questions. And don't get me wrong, it's really important that men contribute to this topic. I would actually give both questions to Sokhna, because also the question if it's more encouraging for women to be in a women's only course is something that she, as a woman and technician, can answer best, I hope. Did you understand?
I think I understand. One of the advantage to be a technician, woman technician, is the clients sometimes prefer to work with women. That is why we are fighting to push the women to do entrepreneurship, because me, for example, I have success because the client prefer work with me like as a they want to work with me, yes, par rapport aux hommes. C'est ça. Yeah. Donc it is an advantage to be a technician. That is why we want to push technicians to go to entrepreneurship, because the refrigerant sector is very large and everybody has his place in it. Yeah.
So you never, and also your colleagues from your network, it never happened to them that a client said, no, we don't want a woman?
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. Maybe the situation is different in different countries.
Yeah.
And for the second question, would it be better for women to have trainings for women only, or would they prefer to have mixed classes?
Yeah, we prefer to have mixed classes because we don't want to do discrimination with the men too. Donc, yeah.
And then maybe also the male colleagues see that women are capable as well.
In the class, we don't have problem with the study with the boys, but the problem began after our degree. First, to find an internship. Yeah, it's a problem with the employers first, and the men we find in the workplace, they don't give us a place to stay with them, because they think that you are here to take their place or to do competition with them. No, it's not the situation. We want just to take our place in the refrigeration sector. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for these answers, and thank you again for your questions and contributions. And now I hand over to Niels Hansen, the project manager of ROCA, for some conclusions and closing remarks.
Yeah, thank you, Kerstin. Not an easy task. It was a good discussion we had here. I think many contributions from you all. Thank you very much for that. In the beginning, we heard a lot about passion, that all the technicians we heard on the video showed passion for the sector, wanted to take the screwdriver themselves. And of course, gender is an important aspect in policies of GIZ, of our donors, but it is much more than that. It is also an issue, equal opportunities, justice between genders, but it's also simply a matter of reason. I mean, you can't exclude 50% of the workforce from a sector that has large needs for workforce. I mean, you have you need ROCA technicians all over the world, and you just need to make use of 50% of the population. That doesn't make sense, also from an economic point of view. We heard a lot about barriers and also some solutions, and I think one of the most important points is that we need to start, we need to create awareness, we need to also support those that are already there and show, okay, here you see there is a woman, she is highly qualified, she's doing the job at least as good as her colleagues, and these ladies that are there and that are working in the sector, they need allies from genders, male, female, whoever supports them is welcome, I think, and it is important to show that they are there, that they do a good job, and also support those who want to go into their footsteps and follow suit. So I think that was an encouraging meeting, and I'm also happy that we heard some examples from other countries where there are initiatives going on, and I'm very happy to also get in touch with you all if there's some more ideas on how to go about this topic, and maybe we can also contribute some ideas to your initiatives. So thank you very much. I also would like to thank Sokhna for her input, very, very inspiring, and Claudia and Cornelius also for their support to the project and to this event today. And Cornelius, you wanted to... One sentence, yes, of course.
No, I wanted to thank you for this interesting and really inspiring sharing of experience, and I can only encourage you, Niels, and GIZ to be creative, integrating such elements that can be awareness-raising element in the program. We are not micromanaging those projects. We give free hand, and if there are some opportunity like we heard today, then we should make use of it. And as Neil said, we need refrigeration technicians. That's a worldwide problem. That's a huge problem in Europe, and that will be a huge problem also in your countries. So. Yeah, we can only encourage you to continue good work.
Thank you, Cornelius, and I think that was already good final remarks. Thank you very much. Thank you all for your contributions, and have a very good session here. Thank you.